Okay, guys, I'm in Enugu to meet with the president of Alibo Development Foundation, Professor Zodin Mawala. This is a video you need to watch to the end because I know what is in stock. The man is loaded, and at this time, Ndibo needs leadership direction. Listen to him till the end of the video. Don't miss a word.
We are in a very perilous period in our history. I mean, Alibo, our people. We've never had it so bad in our history. During the colonial period, the Igbos had very trustworthy, very powerful, highly united leadership. I'm referring to the time of the Azikiwes, the time of Michael Operas, the time of ZCOBs and others. We had leadership. Incidentally, before them, the Igbo women had shown a high level of leadership unparalleled in many countries of the world at the time. They were the first to shake the very foundation of colonial domination. In Nigeria, in fact, we are told that that was the first in the entire colonial system. I'm referring to the 1929 Women Resistance Movement, which is wrongly called Aba Women Riot. In the time of the Azikiwes, Michael Operas, ZCOBs, Akanibiam and others, the Igbos had a highly united leadership. That's why when the war came, these leaders formed the background that formed the foundation, the prop of the military rule in Alibo. I don't want to go much into that. We all know the strength and weaknesses, whatever errors that were committed. And why would there be not error? Because at the time, the Igbos were led by young men, many of whom were just about 30 years, 31, 32 years old. The youths, as we know, are usually very energetic, very full of patriotic zeal and determination, energy. The youths are the warriors of their various communities, protect their communities. And that's what Emeka Odumegwu Ojukwu and his men were during the Civil War. They mobilized us and we fought with them, you know. But then because of some errors, perhaps errors committed because the leadership then had limited experience of the world, of the forces that dominate and control the world then. Particularly, they didn't understand that that was the period of the Cold War, where the world was divided into two, the East and the West. And those who were in a situation fighting for their freedom and who understood the realities of the world at the time were able to exploit the dynamics of world politics at the time to save their people. I'm referring to Nelson Mandela in South Africa, Augustine Neto, Swazimbi, you know that. I'm also referring to Fidel Castro in Cuba and some other leaders who exploited, understood dynamics of the world at the time. They were able to align their own struggle very constructively and achieve freedom for their people. We didn't quite understand the world at the time. That's part of our failure in the Biafra experiment of 1966, 67, of 70. Today, the situation is worse. We don't even have leadership. We don't even have government we call our own, standing firm, tall against the forces fighting us. Patriotically defending our people, ready to die for our people. We do know there are some people, some leaders. We have some leaders, no doubt. The Igbos are not without patriotic leaders, there are some of them. But one problem at this historical period, that Igbo leadership is not properly blended. Not properly blended to lead us to face the challenge of this period. That is our number one problem at the time. That's our number one problem at the time. And because of this situation, we find ourselves highly vulnerable. We find the youths again trying to fill the gap, which they are not fully equipped to fill the gap. So what is required today, our people, is that we need a properly blended Igbo leadership. We need to come together once more. This is something we've been trying to do, something we've been pointing out since 2014, when the Igbo intellectuals from all over the world organized what we called a conference to examine the Igbo predicament in Nigeria, the international colloquium on the Igbo question in Nigeria, on the predicament of the Igbos in Nigeria. After it, we formed what we call our Igbo Development Foundation. And ever since then, we've been working with our people, whether in Ohaneze, Izukomunna, and other platforms. We've been working with them. We've been working with the clergy, very patriotic clergy we have, to reposition the Igbos so that we can face the challenges we have. Everybody knows that one of the problems we have today is that the political leadership, particularly those who hold reins of power, not all of them are moving in the same direction and the same pace with the people. Not all of them really understand their role, that government is very important in this struggle. And for Igbo to meet the challenges of the time, they must have government of their own. And for them, that is the present challenge we have today. Particularly more so again, it is worse for any nation to have people who pretend to lead them. but then they are also serving not only their own personal interest, they are also serving the interests of the enemy. That's part of the problem we have today, that many people in our neighborhood, even those who hold reins of power, are not serving the interests of Ndidi. They're not working for our salvation. They're serving the enemy, which is tragic. I have no doubt that the Igbos can once again, from the ashes created by this failure of leadership, we can rise again to take our destiny into our hands. Today we are faced with insecurity in a proportion we've never experienced in our life. We do know insecurity is all over Nigeria, but our own is a peculiar blend of insecurity. While the others suffer insecurity as a result of bandits, Boko Haram and others, we've suffered insecurity particularly from organized government, from agents of the federal government, who are all over the place terrorizing, maiming and killing our youth. Unfortunately, killing our youth. Because of lack of relevant government political leadership, we've not been able to control our youth. We've not been able to show them the right way to organize youthful resistance against the enemy of their people. But this is one challenge we have. We must step forward to work with our youth, to enable them play the role they're supposed to play as youth people. We have very viable pan-Igbo organizations. We have IPOB, we have MASOL, we have ADF, we have Zukumuna, we have others. All these formations need to be governed, they need to come together and work for the interests of our people. Today, as you know, we are faced with terrible insecurity, food scarcity, hunger is raging in our land. There's anarchy. While our enemies organizing and killing and doing their thing, our own youths need to be properly organized, properly focused to protect their people and not to join in terrorizing their people. We have youth restiveness all over the place, and where there's no force, particularly that of the organized government, what you have is the kind of situation we have today. I belong to Ali Bodilum Foundation. I'm the president of Ali Bodilum Foundation. We have been doing the best we can within our limited resources since we came into being. We've done a lot. We had gone to court to challenge the Python dance. That challenge recently reverberated when the lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu went to challenge that particular experience. And we've seen the positive result of that challenge. ADF challenge was placed within the legal system controlled by our enemies. That's why for almost 2 years, no judgment has been given. For almost 2 years, they've been tossed up and down without any sense of direction. So today, how do we move forward? ADF has continued to provide guidance. Last time, as you know, we were part of the forces that mobilized in Igbo during the last election. After it, we mobilized in Igbo, worked together with Ohaneze to start the process of galvanizing and creating a viable security outfit for Igbo. Unfortunately, soon after that, our governors and other people came to dissolve what we had and to create what they called, first of all, what they called within the federal government police, community policing. From there, they went into what they called Bubago and so on. Our people say, if you don't wet your lips, the hammer tongue will scatter it. because of absence of true leadership. Absence, that is why our youths have created what they call the ECN, Eastern Security Network. But we know that even though they are driven by the patriotic force of love for their people, they are highly handicapped. There's no way they can face the regular federal forces, regular army, with all the massive armament they are importing, using the oil and the resources from our land to equip soldiers. Yes, ironically, while even the North is ravaged by insecurity, the federal forces who should have been there are in Alibo, daily killing and maiming our youth. But we have a responsibility as leaders, as people, to find a way, to best way to galvanize our youth and show them the correct path to resistance in a period like this. And the area of food scarcity and control of our land, ADF has launched what we call a Kurulo. First of all, a Kurulo movement was launched during the quick notice, which the Northern L people gave us, people to go home, meaning that they were about seizing their property and asked us to go home. At that point in time, ADF did take the matter to United Nations. We took the matter to American Congress, and we know United Nations Secretary did send people around to come and find out what is happening. ADF has also done a lot in galvanizing our people politically. During the last election, we worked together with Ohanes and Igbo and pointed out to our people the direction we should vote, and thank God they did that. We've also been in touch with many people, communities and so on. In recent times, we've engaged in what we call the Akurulo Cooperative Movement, which is aimed at producing food for our people and also protecting our communities. We've been able to set up land, agricultural land in so many places, in a number of places. We train some of our youths who are ready to work in these farms. And we're happy that the spirit of Akurulo is catching on through Igboland. Many organizations, people are now in the field, driving the Akurulo business in the area of agricultural production. We have quite a lot of land, and we can feed ourselves. But at the same time, we know that the challenge of insecurity is there, so we must also organize ourselves in such a way that we can at the same time deal with the insecurity caused by Boko Haram, caused by all the anarchist infiltrations into our land. What is now before us now is, how do we galvanize ourselves? How do we forge a new political agenda which is needed for our salvation? Recently, we all saw what happened in Anambra State, where despite the pressures of the enemy, Anambra people stood firm and were able to elect a government which is a government after their heart. We have no doubt that the young man, Soludo, who at a personal level, he was one of the people, some of my friends and I tried to bring up in Nsukka as patriotic citizens of Alibo. The same thing also with one of the former governors of Anambra State, P2B, whom everybody agrees did so excellently well as governor of Anambra State. We have no doubt that Soludo is going to rise to that level. I must comment again of the action of Governor-elect Soludo in creating a transitional team that has a pan-Igbo character, a pan-Igbo structure. He's been able to galvanize from all over Igboland. That is the name of the game at this time, our people. Ndi Igbo must stand together. We must emphasize less of statehood and talk more of Igbo region. Igbo national integration. Integrated ourselves with our brothers in Rivers area, in Anioma, even those in Ben and other places. What we require today to save ourselves is leadership that's committed to the welfare and progress of our Igbo. Leadership that is ready even to die for the sake of Igbo. We need unity among our leaders. We are aware that many people have come out wanting to run for presidency of Nigeria. There's nothing wrong in that. We want to say this in all honesty to our people, that time has come when we should see the ballot as an instrument of political struggle in Nigeria. It is important. That's how Catalonia is where it is today, and where many other areas are where they are today, because they were able to galvanize their people, make sure if it is electoral contest, they elect those they want, elect people who serve them, who protect the patriots of their areas. So it is important, people, that we must show interest in the process of the registration of voters. We must. It's very important. It's shameful that Southeast is giving a record of 300 and something thousand, while some other areas have 800, 1 million plus, and so on. It is important for us to galvanize our people, to register. Wherever you are, whether in Alibo or anywhere else, we must galvanize people. We must begin to see the ballot as one form of struggle. We must recognize its relevance. Those who say we should not vote, we don't think they're quite correct. You understand the dynamics of struggle, particularly for those underdogs who are fighting for their own political freedom. Dear brothers and sisters, it's important. We must do our best. Particularly, the major challenge we have is reinventing Igbo leadership. Particularly the collective nature of it, as it was in the days of Okpara and Azike. The Igbo leaders, ZCOB and Co., they were leaders. Our Prince Canadian, they were all working together. There was unity in their ranks, you know. They were not divided by any party. Please, the less we play about party, the better for us. But we know that as part of our political agenda, we must begin to embrace a political structure, political order that serves the interests of the people. You know, we must have our own party, you know, and but more importantly, we must have our own people in political power, no matter the party. But what's important is those who defend the interests of Ndibo, who work for Ndibo, who invest in Ndibo, And we call our businessmen, please, try and support all those who are working for the emancipation of Ndibo. Invest in agriculture, invest in the youth's human capacity, invest in everything that will help the Igbo nation to stand firm and be recognized as a relevant political force in the world. Thank you very much.